The age of social media has made the entrepreneur starting a business really the glamour you see after the hard work that's put in. I think the time commitment, I think, a lot of people have great jobs, and it's not to talk negatively on it, but they want something else. They want that soft landing. They want to be making 300 grand a year in their current role. They want to start something on the side. They want to continue to work their 50, 60 hours in an office setting. And then all of a sudden they want to be able to jump in once that business starts making the same income to then be able to transition into that franchise opportunity, which it can be done, but I feel like it's a smaller chance of succeeding and really not a fit for us. And I think it just puts you in a chance to fail.
Welcome to the I Fired My Boss franchise podcast. My name's Dan Claps, founder and CEO of Franchise Playbook, a franchisor platform where we create, own, and operate dynamic franchise brands in the mobile services space. And my life's goal is to help people just like you fire their boss and become a business owner.
And I'm Christian Dadulak, top franchise consultant and co-founder of Real Franchising, a leading franchise consulting firm. And together, we're on a mission to help people fire their boss, hire themselves, and live the American dream through franchise ownership.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the I Fired My Boss podcast. Happy to be well past 100 episodes. I think this is episode 103, give or take. Thank you for our loyal listeners tuning in. This is Dan Claps, CEO of Voda Cleaning and Restoration, as well as co-host of the I Fired My Boss podcast. Excited to have a special guest on today, my good friend and Senior Franchise Development Director, Steve Miller of Voda and Franchise Playbook. Hey, Steve, how are you?
How's it going, Dan? Really pumped to be here. I appreciate you letting me jump on, and really excited to dive into today's podcast.
Yeah, man. I've been excited to have you on because, listeners can already tell you've got a voice for radio. He's got a face for TV too, but he's got the radio voice. So I think podcasting's in your future, man.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. Again, I followed you actually, when we first met, I did a lot of snooping around with your podcast and your content prior to agreeing to join on with Franchise Playbook. So definitely something that I look forward to continuing to do with you here as we build out this company.
Yeah, man. Well, I guess to start, why don't you just give the audience a bit about you, your background, your role in Voda?
Yeah. So a little bit of background on me. I've had a career mainly in sales and sales management, business development. Started my career off in the pharmaceutical space out of college, and from there graduated to the med device industry. And then from there, I really, after having a president's club under my belt, I felt like I wanted to, try being out on my own. And from there, joined a couple different startup opportunities as a co-founder. Definitely had a lot of lessons along the way. Did have one company that did have a successful acquisition, in 2018. But again, it was just that entrepreneur spirit. I loved working on small teams, and I love building. So from there, as I'm trying to find my next adventure in this, I actually had looked at franchising for myself and was kind of a target for a consultant during my previous career transition. And, one of my buddies who's an executive recruiter connected us. And it was interesting. The first day, right? I'll never forget this, call you, and we got this call scheduled, and you kind of blew me off. So I was like, what's going on here? Like, my buddy set this up. It's from there, I did a lot of research on you. And then after that, it was, like you said, everything happens for a reason. I think me diving into home services on the first front, your background, and I think your expertise in the franchising space. Again, joking around, like to call you LGD, Lead Gen Dan. I definitely thoroughly vetted that through the 3 weeks of courting. Felt really good about joining you. And then again, as your credit as a leader, I think the transparency and feedback, and I love working on teams. I played team sports my whole life. I think as competitive people, we always look for that, where you got guys on either side that you can essentially go to battle with. And this is more of the corporate setting, but we've had a lot of hard works, but we're having a great time. And I think I'm just so excited for our future. And, we were talking about it last night. We had Playbook, had members join the team, acquired the business. We were trying to get that first unit under our belt. And now here sitting at, 13 units with hopefully some more coming in the following week. It was a good moment to reflect, but this is a day by day thing, but it's always good to reflect and see kind of where you've been at and the road that we've traveled.
Yeah, dude. It's interesting. Like if you're listening to this and you're a franchise owner or you're thinking about building a business, building a team is everything. Like, Steve and I, we work together. It's fun. It's easy. We're both alpha kind of personalities, dominant or, big personalities, if you will. And so, do we butt heads sometimes? Absolutely. But what I love about that is the fact that we are able to have caringly candid conversations. We care about each other beyond work and we've become friends. And that allows us to be able to say, hey, dude, like, listen, you're doing X, Y, Z. Don't be offended, but I think you could change that. I care about you. Let's fix it. And that's mostly toward me, not to Steve.
Well, it's great. As we were talking about yesterday at our Discovery Day, we're Northeasterners, right? And so we're a little bit more direct at each other. And the other Midwest guys on our team are looking at it like, man, these guys are like going to kill each other. And it's just, again, famous quote from IFA, right? Drew Brees. It's, the best teams I've been a part of the teams that care. And again, it's just us wanting to have the goal that we want this company to really succeed as a platform and then for our franchisees. And so there's a lot of passion behind that. And a lot of butting heads, but it's, over the coming on a year that we've met, we've grown really close. And again, been working together in kind of the trenches together, building this out. And, there's always going to be those hard times, but I think, to your credit as a leader, I think a lot of other CEOs, with some of the things that I've said to you on feedback would take offense to it. And you've taken it and been very transparent. And that is kind of the culture we've built where we have everybody on the team from the members on my team too, as well, that give me feedback and we encourage it. And I think that helps us grow as a team. And that really starts with you kind of building out the culture, which has been great. And it's definitely unique.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, Steve, let me ask you a question. As you lead development for Franchise Playbook and for, Voda Cleaning and Restoration, what are you finding is the most candid conversations you have to have with prospective franchise owners? Like what's the, major truth that people maybe come into franchising not knowing and you feel like, people should know?
Yeah. I mean, there's several things, right? I think, the age of social media has made the entrepreneur starting a business really the glamour you see after the hard work that's put in. I think the time commitment, I think, a lot of people have great jobs and it's not to talk negatively on it, but they want something else. They want that soft landing. They want to be making 300 grand a year in their current role. They want to start something on the side. They want to continue to work their 50, 60 hours in an office setting. And then all of a sudden they want to be able to jump in once that business starts making the same income to then be able to transition into that franchise opportunity, which it can be done, but I feel like it's a smaller chance of succeeding and really not a fit for us. And I think it just puts you in a chance to fail. And for me, going through some trials and tribulations as an entrepreneur myself, I really feel for that. And for us, we're here to help change people's lives. And I think a lot of people look at owning a business to take that next evolution in their career, personally and financially. And, for us, I think what we really do care about our franchisees and making sure that we're giving them the path to be successful on. The other thing that I think is, as people are looking at the item 7, especially people that are looking at buying an existing business, a lot of times they look at the upfront cost of a franchise as we are essentially cutting a check for $170,000 to Voda Cleaning and Restoration, as in that is a revenue for us. And as you break down the item 7 in the FDD, there is a franchise fee, but the rest is really the cost of running the business upfront and for that first 3 months. We do a great job of leveraging our buying power as a franchise and use economies of scale to get you guys the best pricing on each individual vendor. But that is not a revenue stream for us. And I think sometimes that's a lot of misconceptions, especially people that are looking at buying an existing business. And again, anyone that's ever spent money on development of themselves, gone to a sales course or an operations course, that franchise fee becomes pretty minimal as you look into what a franchise is going to provide you and the mentorship that you're going to get with guys that have done what you want to do in the past. And I think that looking at it that way is great. And then, I was reading something today on LinkedIn about the networking that, think about you're tapping into a network of other franchisees that are at, about the same or better economic situation with you. And you're all part of business owners together and the countless value in that. And I think truly people have to understand that franchising is a true partnership between the franchisor and the franchisees, and it's a community. And I think that's some of the biggest misconceptions when they're looking at franchising for an investment opportunity.
I also think, Steve, what you have a unique perspective, because although our company Voda is growing at a rate like many brands that are represented by like FSOs or franchise sales organizations, which are great too, but you're in the operations. You're on every single leadership team call, operations call. You're aware of the hires we're making operationally. You're interfacing with franchise owners that are part of our franchise system that you awarded territory to, and asking for feedback and then pushing that feedback up to the leadership team. I think that gives you a really unique ability to do development, because operations and development are talking to each other, not just talking. I mean, they're fully ingrained with each other. And that allows you to be just such a better development director. If you're listening to this and you're a franchise development director, which we've got a lot of people that listen to this for that type of background, do that. Get involved with your franchisor. No CEO or operations leader of a franchise, or at least no good one, will ever say to you, hey, dude, stop asking us about operations. Real development directors get involved in the business because they understand that their involvement is key. One of the most important roles in a franchise system is the development director. Right now we have Discovery Day that Steve and I took a quick break from to do this. We've got 7 phenomenal franchise owners, potential franchise owners here, who all match our core values of grit, tenacity, student mentality, transparency, caringly candid, going the extra mile, and adaptability. They're worded differently than I just said, but they all follow that core value system. And that's because Steve is intentional with turning people away that don't. And so his role is so important in the organization. And so if you're a franchise development director, realize how important the seat you're in. Take the time, call your CEO, say, let me get more involved in going to the field, hanging out with franchisees, doing jobs, whatever it takes. That's going to make you a stronger franchise development director. All right. I know we got to wrap up here because we're going to go back to the Discovery Day, but Steve, any parting words you want to leave with the audience?
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about this before. I think for all the directors out there, this, is, coming on, this is my first time in the development role. And again, just extremely grateful for Zach and Dan putting me in this position. But I think for all the other directors listening to this, I am going to start up a hotline for us to call in and vent. But I just want to say, it's an interesting role where you're getting more no's than yeses. But for everybody out there, just getting out there. And I look forward to connecting with more people. I love learning, and everyone in this space has been great and helping me through this journey. Same with Dan. So looking forward to jumping on in future podcasts. But thanks again for having me.
You're f***ing fired.
If you want to say those words to your boss, make sure you head on over to ifiredmybosspodcast.com and fill out the form to schedule a no-cost consultation. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who might also want to fire their boss.